Can't leave me hanging.
Yes.
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 Unfortunately, there's a bacterial infection around the fallopian tube area. The FGM is the most likely cause.
So what, you want us to have a celibate marriage?
I didn't say that.
Well, then say something, because I do not know what's going on here.
Do not know the future repercussions on the victims, and just gone by was a clip of a lady who had suffered or who underwent FGM when she was little, and it went all ahead to affect her in her marriage. Well, welcome once again to our studios.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me start with you, Yvonne. We just watched the clip and we are all suddenly emotional about it. But how prevalent, I mean, we know that female genital mutilation may not be as frequent as it used to be in the past, maybe due to some interventions we have in place. First of all, let viewers understand what female genital mutilation is, and then its prevalence currently.
Well, female genital mutilation is the partial or whole removal of the external female genitalia, and it's for non-medical reasons, and it has no health benefits.
So why do you think people would think that it isn't an important part of the human body, so it must be removed?
Well, it's a cultural issue. They've given reasons that include they don't want the women to be promiscuous, primarily. They don't want the women to be badly behaved, and so many of these other things, which if we look at other cultures, you know, where they're not circumcised, there's absolutely plenty of women who have, they still behave like modest citizens, so there's nothing to state. There's no evidence that there's a correlation between having undergone FGM and behaving well.
But you didn't answer the question about the prevalence. In 2018, it was about 4%, according to the survey I read about. And in 2022, do we still have 4%?
4% of the human population.
Of Ghanaian population.
Of the Ghanaian population. Well, I don't know the exact figure for Ghana today, but it's...
Your media network or outfit has been working with closely related issues about female genital mutilation.
Yes.
What are some of the things you have discovered?
Okay, this is actually not the first time I'm working on female genital mutilation. In 2017, I also co-produced a movie titled A New Sun, and it was also female genital mutilation link. So we went to the north, in Tamale, to shoot this particular project. So we premiered it in Silverbird Cinemas in 2007. So because I've worked on the same issue in 2017, I was able to get in contact with actually those who have the experience.
Yeah, the victims.
Of the victims.
Okay.
And one funny thing is, I schooled in Kenya, and I realized one of my best friends was a victim of female genital mutilation. So after I came back to Ghana, I didn't know at that time. So after I came back to Ghana and I shot this particular movie, and she saw the trailer, it's when she contacted me and she said, oh, wow, I'm also FGM victim. And the amount of trauma is taking me through. You can't believe it. and she got married in 2012, and she was able to give birth in 2017 because they were having issues of giving birth. But the problem is, right now, a lot of people are afraid to come out to say they are victim of it. So it's now we are trying to encourage those who are victims for them to come out so that they will be able to voice out, and we can also use our media platforms to promote it or to educate people so that they will know that this act is really affecting the victims.
Okay, let me come back to you, Ms. Osei. What are some of the effects? I mean, he speaks about the trauma. What are some of the effects that victims of FGM go through? What are some of the effects FGM has on the victims?
So psychological effects, flashbacks, dreams, nightmares, emotional effects, so it can cause depression and kind of anxiety, anxiousness, and I suppose especially surrounding the time coming up to giving birth, because if you've been circumcised, then there's going to have to be some type of procedure that's going to enable the child to come out. You understand? Depending on what type of FGM you've had. If you've been fully closed, that's another procedure to make you come out. So there are so many different types of effects. You know, as you saw in the film that we created in a short trailer, there's a correlation between the lady who's a lawyer. She experienced FGM in her childhood, but now she's come across a case, a child abuse case that she must fight for, and that's bringing her back to where she experienced FGM. In one sense, is making her more passionate to get things done, but in the other sense is making her emotional, and she has to see if she's making right decisions or she's making decisions based on her emotions, you know, and of course the struggle to have the baby. So all these things are lifelong. There are sometimes kind of like blood clots and things of that nature that cause infections. So, yeah. And
throughout their lifetime, they are unable to detect this infection until probably when they are married?
No, if you're infected, you'll know about it, yes, because you'll feel the physical, you know, and so you'll probably go and seek some kind of medical attention or try and get some kind of antibiotics, I see. Yeah.
Okay. So how is it possible that if you probably noticed infection at a later age and probably treated it, it also ends up in infertility? Can you explain that to viewers?
Well, the infertility can occur if you've got an infection or something serious has occurred as a result of the FGM. There's nothing to say that, when you think about it, like the tests and the medical science surrounding FGM is all very still underground, because it's not like people are offering themselves up for scientific examination. So when you get there, now they're trying to do what they can do. There's nothing to say that because you had an infection, they're going to be able to cure the infection and then you'll move on with life as normal. That's not the case.
Okay. So, Digrat, you mentioned that you first experienced female genital mutilation in Kenya, and then when you came to Ghana, you produced a trailer on that. Can you tell me the prevalence, especially with women? I mean, you have encountered such people. Can you tell me, like, if in 10 women, how many women have been circumcised, and what was their story? How did they get to do? Was it their parents? Were they grown, or were they babies when the infants, when they went through the experience? What do they tell you?
Oh, okay, the whole situation right now is because it's more like a cultural act. So most of them are when they are infants, then when
they have no voice.
Yeah, they have no voice. Then they take them through such act. So most of them don't have the voice to speak out. So my friend who I came in contact, what she told me is she was a kid. She didn't know anything about it. So even after that, she has to run from where her village and come back to Nairobi to struggle with it. And it also makes them not having any feelings for guys. So it makes her even her choice of a man to marry very difficult for her. So she told me, for now, a lot of people are finding it hardly for them to come out and voice out. So it's becoming very difficult for people, for us to put up a statistic that this is the number of people who have the statistics we have right now is only those who have been able to come out. But for now, that's why we want to use the media or the film making to be able to do. So after projects like this, we can also go to the field, like where this act is happening more, so that we will be able to get a documentary of each of the those who have been victims, so that we know a proper statistics for all this kind of act which is happening.
So listening to you two, I derived two effects. He's told me about the psychological and sometimes physical side effects. You've also mentioned health, but how about their self-esteem and even their socioeconomic status? How does FGM affect women in that stride?
Well, I think if you are suffering from the kind of psychological and the physical aspects of FGM, you know, how are you gonna? I think you're gonna struggle going through education process all those years. You're gonna struggle in employment. Are you gonna need to be taking time off? How do you feel about interacting with other people or these practicing communities that the men are the ones who are going to go out in the world and work? That's what they believe. Yeah. So putting girls through FGM onto it as an economical downfall, an economical repercussion. They're thinking, well, this is fine because they're still pushing men ahead. So that's all part of the patriarchy. But it absolutely does affect a nation's economy. Now, if Ghana as a nation, for example, FGM is prevalent, that's half of your workforce who are kind of struggling or down and out. So any kind of oppression of a single group is an issue for the entire nation, because that's how it affects your workforce.
Okay, so let's talk about the clip we just watched. We noticed that as a result of the FGM the girl had when she was little, it's ended up affecting her marriage. How does FGM affect women in marriage?
Well, I suppose each will be a different story. It depends who you're married to. You may be married to someone from your own community who will have expected that this is the case. And so maybe there's more understanding surrounding that. But you may be married to someone who's not from your community. You may be married to someone who's old-fashioned. You may be married to someone who's modern. So there's no general rule of thumb. But I just think for the physical aspects, in terms of reproduction, there's likely to be difficulties there. And it's typically when I mean, I had meetings with, there's a National Health Service in the UK. And there's a division where they do FGM reversals, okay, so that women can then give birth and things of that nature. So those issues are presented to them last minute, you know, so that typically they don't allow themselves go to hospital to be examined and all that until they're ready to give birth. And then at that point, the health service is going to have to deal with the situation. And, you know, it causes deaths of the child, of the baby, of the unborn baby. And even as a child, the person who is being circumcised can die in the process. And in fact, in childbirth, the mother and child can both die. These are all
okay. So, De Graft, let me ask you, as a nation, what kind of efforts, if you could recap our memories, to what kind of efforts have been made to curb or to nip FGM in the bud, and whether those efforts have even yielded anything at all?
I don't think as a nation we have done enough to try to, because everything has been put into tradition. So we haven't been able to take a steps. I remember when we
criminalized it.
Yeah, we have. I think we have criminalized it.
Yes, yes.
But we haven't taken steps to make sure that this act is really not happening. It's in the books, but when you go to the places which is happening, it's still happening. So like when we shot our film in 2017, and we tried to get some of the government agency on board, like the gender ministries, and we sent them letters, and they didn't have.
There was no response.
Yeah, there was no response. So it shows that they are not really taking it serious. You get it? And because they think maybe it's a form of some people tradition, they have made sure it's let's leave it, because in Ghana, if you talk about somebody's culture, you may have problem. So they are not really taking steps to make sure that this act should be stopped.
And can I just add as well, FGM is just a microcosm of a wider issue of gender inequality, right? So there's domestic violence, there's rape, there's so many other things. And until the mentality is changed of society towards women and girls, you're going to be getting FGM, domestic violence, rape within marriage, and so many other things. Yeah, so there's a wider issue of equity, yes, and education and support for women, so that they can come to a level, right, where they are, it's equitable, it's fair. They're not being mistreated. And until those wider issues, we can change policies all we want, and sit on round tables, drafting all these types of things, but the people on the ground who have their mentalities, unless that changes, unless the mentality of the lawmakers changes, don't forget they're just representatives of society. Yeah, there's nothing to say that they're going to have a better outlook on life just because, you know, they've put on a uniform. That's not how life works. That's not how society works. That's not how people think. So unless that kind of patriarchy is addressed, everything else, you know, will struggle underneath it.
Okay, so as an organization, what have you done to, apart from probably producing this trailer, what have you done as an organization to probably draw more attention? Like you said, there isn't much commitment or seeming commitment from the ministry. What have you done as an organization on your own to try and educate people from the districts where it's still prevalent? Yeah,
so that's what I earlier said, it that we want to the movie we produced, because it's about FGM, so we spent a lot of money. We went to the north, shoot it, but we didn't make a lot of income. There you get it. So it got us stuck. So what we want, the next, when Miss Yvonne contacted me and he brought it on board, I was very happy for her to come on board, so that we will do something like that again. So that's why we are now looking for funds, so that we will be able to get this particular series done, so that we will make it. We are not doing it movies, a film. We are now doing it in series.
We are
so
going
we will
to
use
serialize it. Okay.
Yeah, so that we will now educate people through the film, for people to understand that is what's happening. And after that, we are also planning that we will travel to the north to get in contact with the first hands of those who have been affected, so that they can tell their stories, and we put it in a documentary so that we can show to the world, and I think that's our quota.
Can I also just add to that? As an organization, I Create Media, we're not an NGO. We're a private organization. So if you understand, there are actually grassroots organizations who have been tasked to work in FGM and who are actually receiving funding to work in FGM. We don't fit into that category. We're not getting the funding, and we're not an NGO. So we're doing this because of just what we believe in. And I think actually we've made good headway with the resources that we have. So I think this question should also really be presented to those who are being tasked and who are getting the money.
At least you interact with them,
yeah,
so they should be able to tell you some activities they've done.
Yeah, so for example, yesterday was the International Day of Zero Tolerance on FGM. So that's when we launched the trailer. We also had a Zoom meeting with agencies around the world. So there were 2 agencies from the UK, 1 from Kenya, and we were speaking from Ghana. All had this Zoom meeting. So yeah, we were able to kind of have a global conversation about FGM. So yeah.
Okay, I understand there's a trailer too, so maybe I will announce that later. But
that was the trailer.
Yes. So I need to understand your concept for pursuing FGM in preparing a trailer. Do you think that it will make the impact that you're desiring to have? Because you see, those who are perpetrating the crimes, excuse me to say, are not like the elites or the literates who would see this trailer and probably identify with it and say, oh, it's something we shouldn't be practicing. Do you think it would hit home for them to understand the need to stop practicing FGM?
Okay. So firstly, I don't believe that all of the people who are practicing are kind of illiterates and so on and so forth.
Otherwise, why would they be still doing it?
Well, look, I think that there are things that we even do in the modern culture that is still barbaric, that is still unacceptable, but individuals find a way to do it because somehow it suits their mentality or their moral code and things like that. So, I mean, I have even come across a lady from the US who has a PhD. She has a whole doctorate, and she, as an adult, took herself back to her village, had FGM, to undergo FGM as an adult because she wanted to identify with her background and with her culture. Okay. So that's a PhD is one of the highest levels of education that anyone can have. So of course people were surprised and shocked, etc., etc. But there are people who are from culture has a strong hold on people. It doesn't matter your level of education. It can get you as a prime minister, just as religion, for example, has an influence on people. So I think that when it reaches people who we believe are more modern, etc., it will still have an influence, a back influence, a trickle-down effect on those who maybe don't have that much access to television and video and things of that nature. But I believe that if one young girl sees this, apparently we spoke about this yesterday in the Zoom meeting, that a lot of them have access to television in their villages. They do. We believe that they don't, but actually they do. And if one young girl sees this show, right, and it's given her confidence and a voice to say, oh, grandma, look at this, look what is done to me, look what it's doing to other people, can that not start a conversation?
It could, as to whether it would generate any...
But that's a step. Okay. It's step one. Because this type of thing has been going on generationally for so many years. We're not going to find a solution. Anything we do at the top level, it's not going to heal the problem overnight. That's absolutely impossible. FGM has probably been going on hundreds of years. So if we started, let's say we really started getting vocal about it about 10, 12, 13 years ago, okay? How are we going to change hundreds of years of tradition in just 13 years? But we're making inroads, we're making a start. So there are grassroots organizations, as I said, especially the one in Kenya, who are on the ground. They get funding and they are kind of going into the communities, speaking to the fathers and the grandmothers, that kind of thing. So we have our part on screen, they have their part on the ground. But if we're all working and doing our part, bit by bit, I think eventually things will get better. Okay.
So, DeGraft, you were talking about serializing this trailer or this movie, like you come up with a series. How are you going to collaborate with those on the ground to ensure that the impact you're hoping to make with your movie or your creative piece generates the desired result? Okay,
our first project, we were able to sit down with some of the people who wanted to be involved, and we had a conversation that, as you put it, how is it going to get to the people who are performing the act. So they told us, we had a conversation, they told us that, okay, why don't we, after the series, we can, most of the communities have high schools and schools that operate. So after the project, we can put it on television, it will be showing, but maybe they are not getting the access to the television. So why don't we go there and premiere it and educate them? You get it? Use it to educate them. So if you go to the community and we show to them, this is what is really happening. It is going to have an effect. It will really, they will see it and it will be very good. So they told us that is also another step we should take. And after serializing it, we have to also get in touch with the people so that we do the documentary as I've put it, so that they will be also be able to use, when it's coming from them, it can also help to educate those who are doing it that maybe their children are really into health and it's going to affect their future, so they should go about it. So it's about time after we show it on TV, we can also go to their community and educate them through the series.
And also we did invite people in the government, the kind of gender departments and things like that. We would encourage them to come forward. We would have loved to have had them a part of the global conversation yesterday. It was very important.
Yeah.
But in so many different countries, sometimes we don't get the support.
We need collaboration.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you were talking about collaborating with those other grassroots, and I want to find out from you, how does this clip impact on the life of a victim? I mean, because as part of my intro, I was even asking what has become of the lives of the victims. I mean, how would this help them? What kind of support do you think this would have, or impact this would have on the life of a victim as
well,
grown up?
Even as we even started speaking about FGM, before even the trailer put out, we had people from Tanzania calling us and getting emotional over the phone, saying that, this is something that happened to them when they were young. They haven't been able to talk about it. It's disturbing them, this, that, and the third. So we know it's touching people. And when this project began as a stage play, we had actual FGM survivors on the stage telling their personal stories, and engaging with the audience before the fictional part of the play took part. So we know that it gives them a voice, it gives them an outlet, a portal where they can come forward and say, oh, me too, this happened to me. There are other people like me and we're all speaking, and we can all get some type of, maybe a step to healing. They don't feel so alone. They can share their thoughts and emotions. Some people pay thousands or hundreds to go to counseling just to have somebody to talk to. But if you have this community of people who are vocal and who can speak and who can share their experiences, you're helping them.
Okay. So you also mentioned that you required funding to do this project. What are we looking at, and what impact do you think this funding would have on your project?
Okay, such projects, we will demand a lot of quality works and a lot of quality equipment. That's why we really need the fund, so that it can help us to achieve what we want to come out with.
Okay, so how many episodes? I mean,
so it will be 12 episodes.
12 episodes, yeah.
There's an actual Gofundme campaign which is live now, raising money for the project, and so we're looking at about 12 episodes in a season, and we're actually raising £20,000, Great British pounds, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to help us in so many ways in terms of casting, costumes, development, locations, staff welfare, transport, so many things. Yeah.
Okay. So if you just tuned in, we are talking about female genital mutilation and how best we can support victims or how best we can reverse the trend. I Create Media, I have staff from I Create Media who have done a creative piece to be disseminated out there to educate more people as to the side effects of female genital mutilation on the victims, on society, and all. If you want to join the conversation, our WhatsApp lines again are 055-744-6429, 055-744-6429, or you could phone in to join in the conversation on 0264 000 997 0264 000 997. We are also live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Let me come back to you, Yvonne. I mean, this is something you intend to, is it a project that you're going to make cosmopolitan, or is it something that you're just focused on Ghana? Is it because you've mentioned Kenya, you've mentioned Tanzania? I don't know whether you have any intentions of where, I mean, these locations, I know FGM is also highly prevalent. To what extent do you wish to go?
Like I said, we launched yesterday and that was a global conversation. So for us, you know, TV is digital, you know, it's online. So you can, this could be a thing where it's aired in networks in Kenya, in the UK, in the States, in Ghana, but then it can also go online. It can go so many places where dialogue may not go, where documents may not go, where a police report may not go. So for us, it's always been global. And of course, being from the UK, I also have connections there. So it's something that can go anywhere.
Okay. So the graphs, is it only the trailers or series that you're going to produce? Do you have any intentions of, apart from the documentary you've also mentioned, do you have any intentions of probably having a forum for victims to come and talk about, maybe not just documentary, but maybe a support group to make them share their experiences and how they are coping?
We are taking everything one step at a time. So for now, we wanted to focus on the series so that we project it. So after that is when we will know whether to create a forum or do something. But the idea is to spread the news across the world, because it's not only happening in Ghana, it's happening in other countries. So if we can also get other countries to share their view, because I know maybe
I understand we have a caller on the line. Hello, Efwa.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, madam. Open an fancy. I'm a fancy, so I want to see fancy.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I'm for sure. For the Africa. Yeah, mobile, papa. Awarum, Bibialum, Messia for. If you have a company, you walk about you or potential meetings at Tessanadin. One African Messia for your woman for so, Kakra. Yanni, you couldn't watch you sometimes accusation, you may be pre one Bessia. Now, it can name your friend and need you, one or ya the papa. On do Europe, on do other countries, no, but only the Africans. You know, we are not there. It's important for to work meeting. Them nyama na on your message, but work for one point to board. No one can my yesu messiafo. Yentum, yenya, empower kakra.
Meda se papa. Okay, so what she was trying to say briefly was that she was asking for more commitment from policy makers, because it seems women bear the brunt for all the malpractices that are meted out against women. It's like all the time, it doesn't, the FGM is not persistent or prevalent in Europe or the Scandinavian countries, but always in Africa, it looks like we are kind of a backward society. So if our leaders could be up and doing and ensure that female genital mutilation is nipped in the bud. Thank you so much, Ifwa from Kaswa. Before we go on, I'd like us to take the trailer again, and then we'll continue with the discussion afterwards.
When I was circumcised, my mother
is such a demon we need to get rid of. Before we play the trailer, you wanted to react or make a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of comment on the viewer who called in. There is a perception that it doesn't occur in the UK and in foreign nations. It absolutely does. Because obviously there's diaspora, people who are from Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, who go and live there and who take their culture with them and their practices with them. Okay. So it's an issue there as it is in Ghana, as it is in Nigeria. And there are also European communities who do it as part of their culture. The Polish communities, the Kurdish, the Eastern Europeans. So we need to understand that it's not just about the black communities or the African communities who are bearing the brunt of all this. It's a phenomena in different races, different religions, different cultures. They're doing FGM.
Yeah. That's quite shocking to me. But I mean, aren't these done in a probably in a even if it must be done, is it not done in the probably? You know, in our setting, one of the concern is the unhygienic way sometimes done. For which reason women grow up to have long-term side effects, like they can have babies, they have infections, or that has not been treated for a very long time, and it affects their ability to have children and all that.
Okay.
is it done in a way that probably is sanitized or hygienic enough?
No.
Or what's the, can you compare and contrast?
No, it's not done, especially within the villages and places like that. It's not done in any kind of sanitized and hygienic way. There were incidences.
Just hold on to your thought. I'm told we have a caller. Hello.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Okay,
Hello.
you go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Could you please speak up a bit?
Okay. Hello.
Pacho de Katri, who de ka?
Hello, me patron kini me da se ino boase.
Okay. Ye kasafa female genital mutilation ho. See a tra or bad treatia if you haven't.
Do you know something way? I cannot just speak for me patron.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't think he's ready to speak with us. Okay, so go ahead, please.
Yeah, so in those remote places, it's not that hygienic. There have been incidences where medical practitioners within practicing communities have started doing FGM, maybe in a closed roof hospital setting, but that's illegal and that's also banned because the human biology of a woman wasn't made to have those things done to her. So there's no, whether it's clean or dirty, any of those processes, it doesn't matter who does it, it will create complications because that's not how your body was developed. It wasn't meant for that. So there's really no good way of being able to.
Help me understand that a bit. I mean, in our part of in our country, for instance, it's been criminalized. Does that mean that, I mean, obviously it should be criminalized too in those countries?
It's criminalized almost everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. But you see, here's the thing. There are many things in this country, for example, that are a crime. It doesn't mean that people aren't going to do them. They're just going to do them and hope they then get caught.
Yes.
That's all. So criminalizing it is, yes, it's one step. We need to make our official position clear that FGM is a no. However, on the ground, unless people's minds are changed, unless they've been educated, unless they start to feel differently on a moral level, they'll just take their chances. You know, it can drive the process underground where they'll just be hiding it more. You know, they'll be threatening the children, make sure you don't go to school and say anything and all this kind of stuff. So it's, yeah, a piece of paper isn't necessarily going to change anything. More things like media work, grassroots work, counseling, all those types of things. Those are the things that are going to change.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Okay, so let me come back to you, DeGraft. You mentioned early on when we started the program that you were doing this until Yvonne came along. Yes. Can you share with us how you are collaborating together and for how long this collaboration is going to take? Okay. I mean, what were the interests between the two of you? For which reason you came together?
Okay, I already had a project with her. Okay. And through our conversation is when the FGM discussion came in. So then I told her I've been involved in a similar project. So right there we started setting the ball rolling. So from there, then we decided to form a team so that we can work together. So I brought my team and she also brought her team, and we came to form this team we have right now, which through that we decided to celebrate the yesterday the
International Day
International
against
yeah. So we were part of the Zoom meeting. We share our ideas, and we decided that it's not just going to be sitting down and sharing the ideas and all that stuff. We have to also create funds so that we can get the capitals we need. so that we can make this project works. Then we show it to the world that this is what is happening.
Have people responded to your GoFundMe project?
Yet, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the response.
Oh, it has been positive so far, because yesterday through the discussion there was a lot of people, a lot of partners on board, and they were very excited, and they told us they are going to also share the message outside, so that people will get to know what we are doing. So since that time we have been getting a lot of response from outside the world and Ghanaians as well. Okay.
So Yvonne, we've got to be wrapping up finally. Can you tell us what you want to be seen, what you want to be seen done with reference to female genital mutilation in the next couple of years?
Okay, well, my solution isn't anything new. It's the solution that they're all saying, all the NGOs, all the grassroots organizations. We're all kind of speaking with one voice, in that we would like for the instances of female genital mutilation to be reduced. And I think, is it 2030 where they want to see a total eradication? The World Health Organization wants to see a total eradication of female genital mutilation. We're behind on that, because if today is 2022, we've got just like 8 years or so, and I don't believe we've made that much of a inroad to be able to completely eradicate by 2030. But it's ambitious, and I like that ambition. So that means that we have a lot to work towards and a lot to achieve. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So, Degrab, your final words?
Oh, okay. What I'll add to my sister Yvonne on is, it's about time we all come together and fight this act, because people are going through a lot in their house or in their homes through their marriage, and they are not able to voice out. So through this medium is what we can use to help them to voice out. So people should come and support us or collaborate with us. Organizations and other partners should come and collaborate with us, so that we can spread the message.
I've seen a couple of WhatsApp calls coming in. I can't pick your calls on air. You're supposed to call our phone lines. So I'm sorry if I can't pick your call. Our phone lines are on. You could alternatively call us. But unfortunately, we can't pick your calls, because this is all time would allow us in talking about how to stop FGM. iCreate Media has come up with a trailer which they intend to build up to form series, a 12 edition of a 12 serial episode of series that they would want to disseminate on our airwaves, and hopefully to give someone a voice to speak against female genital mutilation. I beg your pardon. My name is Sarah Fori. Hope to see you same time on Wednesday.